I want to turn our attention to some news about TNA.
Okay.
This news directly impacts AEW for a variety of reasons, and that's why I think this will be interesting. Chat, please feel free to join in because this one is interesting. So last week, there was some news that came out that TNA will begin to air TNA Impact exclusively on Sportsnet 360. Now, for those who don't know, Sportsnet 360 is a big channel in Canada. It is the home of all the Canadian hockey teams for the NHL. Oh. And this is the channel where WWE was broadcasted on Canada before WWE moves to Netflix, right? So a lot of people don't know this, but this is where you desire to be on TV. If you're a professional wrestling company, this is where you would want to be. And they made the announcement today. It was officially announced by Sportsnet that TNA Wrestling will air on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Exclusively on Sportsnet 360. So they have replaced WWE's programming, basically.
Because WWE is going to Netflix.
Correct. Now, for those who also don't know, WWE is leaving Sony Sports Network in India because WWE is headed to Netflix, which is massive for WWE. But now this opens up the doors for AEW. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because TNA's new TV deal in Canada actually hurts AEW's global reach. It hurts AEW's reach in the country of Canada. The performance, the viewership in Canada is actually not as strong for AEW as it is with TNA. So with TNA, and there's a lot of importance to this, but for TNA to get Sportsnet 360, it's really a massive deal. But it was an opportunity that if AEW had, it would have done great things for AEW because AEW Collision
would have boosted the product.
Yeah, Collision's going to USA Network and Dynamite is on TSN. Both of those channels just don't have as much visibility. They're not as popular channels. Sportsnet is clearly available in more homes, and it's a little bit more of a popular channel. So it opens up a really good door for TNA in Canada. Now, when you look at India as a potential expansion for these companies, TNA already has a TV deal that they signed last March, so they're not going to be able to get a new TV deal because they're currently under agreement. But with WWE leaving the Sony Sports Network thing in India, that leaves the doors open for AEW. So, in a way, TNA kind of hurts AEW in Canada. However, there is an opportunity for AEW that would do great wonders for them if they were able to snag that TV deal that WWE no longer has. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, Billy, first I'll get your reaction, but secondly, I'm going to ask you right now, based on all this talk about TV deals, based on TNA's uprising and potential growth, do you believe that TNA is coming after AEW's growth? Do you think they will become a threat to AEW? I have my answer, and it involves these TV deals significantly, but I want to hear your reaction first.
So, yeah, of course. Of course TNA is going after AEW's growth. Because, okay, here's the thing, right? A smaller company like TNA has been overlooked numerous times. They get to play with WWE. We have all the stuff that they've done over with NXT. Looks great for their company. People, especially when nostalgia hits, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I remember TNA, da-da-da. And then AEW the whole time is looking ahead at WWE rather than paying attention to that third brand, that little guy in the background who's trying to take your spot and potentially could. That's who you need to be. I get it. You want to look ahead and you want to look forward, but you always have to watch your back. Because behind you, there's always somebody chasing that spot.
Oh.
And that's TNA to AEW right now. Because TNA knows they're not going to be able to play with WWE right now, but they know that they can play with AEW. They do know that for a fact. So, yeah, if you ask me, and if I'm giving you just a quick, easy answer, yes, TNA is 1000% looking to take that spot.
I said this before, Billy. I said
Mhm.
AEW should be less worried about WWE, but they should be more concerned about TNA. The AEW tribalists, the marks, they absolutely hate when I say that, but there's a reason for it. What we are seeing internationally with TNA and their TV deal is a very big indication that Anthem, the company that owns TNA, is
Yep.
willing to, because they owned the network that TNA was airing in Canada, which was Fight Network.
Mark. Yep.
It tells you very much that TNA's parent company, Anthem, is willing to get away from their TV networks in order for TNA to actually grow. So that tells me a couple things. One, this will make the wrestling industry healthier. I think TNA trying to be a little bit more competitive and getting new TV deals will not necessarily make a threat to AEW. I don't think TNA growing hurts AEW, but I think what it does is actually make AEW better, because when you're at the top, you have to worry about people below you trying to take your spot.
Yep.
And if AEW isn't worried about what's at the top with WWE, and
they're
focus
more worried
on
about the behind,
it's going to force AEW to get better, right?
Mhm.
Now, when I talk about the new TV deals for AEW, yeah, like their TV deals right now in Canada really aren't that great. But obviously, it's not the primary market, which is fine, right? It's not
Right.
like that drastic of a deal. But for TNA, it is very telling that Anthem would get them off of Fight Network to go to Sportsnet. Now
Mhm.
we got to look at in America what's going to happen. Ring of Honor is about to get a new TV deal. There is some rumors. I've tweeted this out. I tweeted this out, and I'll talk about this here on the channel. I've heard
Okay.
little rumors that Vice TV is trying to get into sports, and
Mhm.
more specifically, wrestling and MMA. So if Vice is trying to make that jump, Ring of Honor, which was something I heard floated around, I don't have confirmation on this, but I've heard that Ring of Honor on Vice could very well be a thing that happens. Now, with that being said, let's say Ring of Honor goes to Vice, or let's say Ring of Honor goes, okay, better idea. Let's say Ring
Okay.
of Honor goes to Fox Sports 1, right?
Okay. FS1. Yep.
Sure, FS1, right? Let's say that's
Yeah.
where Ring of Honor goes. Then whoever else was in contention for Ring of Honor, the first thing they should be doing is picking up the phone and calling Anthem and bringing in TNA.
Yep.
Now you have a healthier wrestling ecosystem, because that means ROH and TNA have relatively good TV deals. Not the best TV deals, but relatively good TV deals compared to where
Mhm.
they were before. So when
Right.
I say that the new TV deals hurt AEW in Canada, it does. But it goes to show you that Anthem is willing to do something with TNA that maybe they weren't willing to do before.
Before, right.
So I do firmly believe that we are in a situation that just in general ultimately will lead to some really good stuff.
Mhm.
Really good and happy for TNA to get that the Sportsnet deal. Very happy that, you know, maybe even the doors could open for AEW in India, because global expansion matters, especially
Yes.
professional wrestling in India is relatively big. So obviously I look forward to seeing what happens with that. But as we dissect this conversation and we analyze things, it's just important for everybody to remember exactly what's at stake.
Yeah.
Content could be really good, it could be really bad, but at the end of the day, for Tony Khan, for Anthem, for WWE, what matters is the money that they're getting. And when WWE went to Netflix, that opened up a lot of doors for all these other wrestling companies. And now we got to see who takes advantage of that. We have not seen AEW take advantage of it just yet. Doesn't mean that they won't, but they haven't yet. We're already starting to see TNA do so.